Wake up and be amazing, beautiful souls. We're going to try something new today. I don't believe, maybe I have, I don't remember, actually using Zoom to go live. So we're just going to check it out. Let me know that you can hear me. Let me know that you're up and awake on this Monday morning by hitting hashtag live. If you're coming back, hit hashtag replay. So again, we're just going to try it. It is actually National Coffee Day. So if you're a coffee drinker, places I know they're giving free coffee away today. Krispy Kreme, Starbucks, Dunkin' Donuts, and yes, your local Circle K. And I will tell you that if you haven't tried gas station coffee for at about a buck and a half lately, you might be missing out and overpaying for your coffee because you can get an Americano, you can get a latte, you can get a cappuccino, and all you do is push little buttons. You could bring your own cup. I almost always bring my own cup, whether it's my ceramic cup or one of my Yeti-like cups. So anyway, if you're going to go out today and grab your free cup of coffee, let me know and just put coffee in the comments. Let's make this a two-way street this morning. So it's the first Monday since coming back from Ireland, an absolutely amazing 10-day adventure from Dublin to Dingle. And people have asked, like, what was your favorite part? It was a beautiful place. It's a beautiful place. The two times we've been, we have found the people to be amazing and friendly. And I know there's always jerks everywhere you go, but we haven't run into any of them. People that want to share the crack, which is conversation. And to me, that's the most important part. The connection, the memories, the laughter, maybe even a few tears and hugs. That to me is the most important part. So, what when you travel is the most important part? I did a video. We're walking in Dublin, and the algorithm obviously knows where I am. And I kept getting things about travel, travel, travel. And I also kept getting things like the wrong way to travel. I don't believe there's a wrong way to travel. It's what sets your soul on fire. Maybe those aren't the words you would use, but for me, it's what lights me up every single morning. So whether you want to go to an all-inclusive and sit by the pool, do it. You want to hike, do it. You want to ruck, do it. You want to climb mountains, do it. You want to rent bikes, do it. You want to go on TripAdvisor and take a big group trip on a bus like we did in Italy, do it. So when you travel, and it may change, but for your next adventure, your next trip, what is something you want to do? Is it conversation? Is it hiking? Is it relaxing? Is it sipping great coffee? Is it finding the best chocolate like we did in Geneva, Switzerland? Like, what is that for you? What is that for you? So I want to share a story this morning. I sip my coffee, and I hope that you are awake today. And maybe even if you don't want to go to work, you remind yourself that you don't have to, that you get to, that you're gainfully employed, that the coffee in your cup took money, and it's just an exchange, right? Of what you're giving and what you're getting. That's it. So over the last probably almost 2 weeks now, it was 2 weeks ago yesterday, we went to Austin and we flew out to Dublin, where they actually unfortunately lost our bags, even though we don't typically check our bags. But we've also traveled enough to know as you get toward the last boarding group, we're counting. And we could watch them count, knowing that the overhead bins were getting full. They checked our two of our bags, our carry-ons, and they didn't make it in time. But we always teach people, coach people, and live that once you go through TSA, or even before that, once you park your car and you take the shuttle, you walk to the airport, it's all out of your control. So being upset or having a fit, it doesn't really help at all. But I want to share a story that I haven't shared on social media, on TikTok, on YouTube at all. So if you don't know what the Gap of Dunloe is, please go look it up. It is amazing. It is beautiful. It is stunning. And it feels like you're on a movie set and it's fake. So it's a green screen. So Trailblazer Bob, who said he would drive the entire trip, which he did, and he drove the standard car, shifting the gears with his left hand, driving on the wrong side of the road. And let me tell you, driving in Ireland is not like driving in most of America on the interstate. But he did it. He did it successfully. So we're in the Gap of Dunloe. We'd already driven, I don't know, hour and a half to get there, and it is coming down sideways. I'm talking the rain is so hard that when I shot a video, and I'll share about that video, that people were asking if it was snowing or raining. So we stopped and it on this bridge. And at that time, there was nobody coming in either direction. So we stopped. The girls don't want to get out. I mean, I'm telling you, I brought my raincoat last 2 years ago when we went to Ireland. I'd ordered a raincoat. It literally came the day we left. So it's been 2 years. I've been waiting to use that damn raincoat. So I grab my phone. And one of the things we do inside the Trailblazer Nation is say, look, we have to be weatherproof. We look for perfect days, perfect moments, perfect situations. You will never get outside. So I'm like, okay, number one, we always want to be safe. And we always say that we should try things that we're not successful at 50% of the time, but we learn wins and lessons and be weatherproof, but be safe. So I decided to grab my phone and I've got my hood on and it is, and I'm like, hey, this is what weatherproof is being about. And you can barely hear me, but you can see my smile and I'm just laughing. So that's what it's about for me is those experiences. And sure, it wasn't perfect. In reality, where it rains most of the time in most of the country of Ireland, where there are 5 million people, so less people than the entire state of Texas. Um, it was one of those experiences. We had great weather. 9 out of 10 days, it was really pretty sunny. It did rain intermittently, and that's what happened. Just say, oh, it's a beautiful day, and it'll rain 2 minutes later, but that's why it's so green. But let me tell a story that I haven't shared before in the Gap of Dunloe. So we're driving and we're pulling over and we see waterfalls and we see it's raining so hard that the waterfalls are going up instead of down. We see people in horse and buggy rides. We see people hiking, rucking. We see people riding bikes. And this pack of cyclists come that we later learn are from Canada. And I'll tell you about that too. But they weren't just going a 5K, which is 3.1 miles. They were on a 30K ride, about 20 miles. But once you're out there and once the weather changes, what are you going to do? You're going to finish anyway. You're going to slow down. You're going to take it in. You're going to wipe those rain-soaked sunglasses or whatever. But at about the 20K mark, we decided, again, it's cold, it's rainy. Think of just a kind of wet winter day in Texas. For me, it's like February. I call it rodeo season. So in San Antonio, the rodeo's going on. It's always wet. It's always cold. It's always windy, but we go anyway. So we find a little, good morning, Lisa. If you're joining me live, do me a favor. I'll pause on that. I'll take a sip of coffee, hashtag live, hashtag replay. So we go to the coffee tea shop, cute little place owned by these local ladies. You could hear their thick Irish accents. There's water all over the floor. There's now cyclists everywhere as we see them pulling up. Bathrooms are full with people trying to dry off. And for Bob, for Tanya, for Rebecca, and for myself, there was an instant connection because we've all done events, whether it's 5Ks, 10Ks, half marathon, full marathons, ultra cycling events, Spartans, mud runs. We've all done some of them. And we've all had experiences where the weather just wasn't ideal. In reality, most of the time it wasn't. It was also so small that it was one of those places in most of Ireland that we saw, whether it was the pub, the cafe, this coffee shop, tea shop, is they're not big enough to house as many people often that come in. So you politely say, may I sit with you? It's the way we do that, or I've done it in San Antonio in small Mexican restaurant. And we sit. And then the crack starts, the conversation starts. And for me, the beauty, and yes, I posted on Facebook, but for the most part, we did not pick up our phones. We used them because they are cameras, they are audio devices, and video devices, right? But we weren't on our phone. We just started having a conversation. So we asked what they were doing, where they were from, and that's where I learned that they were from Canada. We learned that I asked, did they ship their bikes? No, they rented them. And and we talked about like what happens if you have a flat tire, your derailleur screws up and your chain falls off. I'm like, well, we have Jim over there. I can't remember his name, but he's our resident tech guy. The leader, he said, I'm like, well, how far are you going? He said, well, that key shop's about halfway in as you get to the entrance of the Gap of Dunloe. He said, we have about a 10K to go. And it's still pouring down. It's still coming down sideways so hard that it looks like snow. And what are you going to do? They sip their coffee, they have conversation. We'll wish them luck. And as he was taking his last sip, he said to me, I enjoyed the crack, I enjoyed the conversation, but tonight this coffee is going to taste a little bit better with a little bit of whiskey as we share our stories. And to me, that's my favorite part. I won't ever forget that conversation. I won't forget the conversation with the Scotchman and Dingle. And we won't forget the pop star that we met in Dublin named Self-Esteem. Look her up, give her a listen. By the way, I'm going to share more, but give me a hashtag live or hashtag replay on this amazing, fantastical Monday. But to me, the coffee this morning tastes better. The coffee that day tasted better because of the conversation. This is what we talk about each and every day when I try to encourage you, support you, give intellectual content away for absolutely free every single day, is to make sure you're fit to explore and always trying to discover life like you're an 8-year-old little kid, asking mom and dad questions, asking. So I was watching a video. Blake of Today, I think his name is on TikTok, and he always talks about fatherhood. And he asked about it. He asked his son, like his son asked why he had wrinkles under his eyes, and he gave him an answer that the little boy wasn't going to understand. He goes, but what I love about that is that for him, thank you so much. It's about that discovery because he's never seen them before. What can you do today? What can you look forward to tomorrow that you've never done before? How can you live life in awe? How can you take joy in the ordinary? How can you begin a conversation and not be afraid? The Trailblazer Lisa, we ruck at least twice a month. She and her husband Freddie go ruck and ride all the time. And I bet you if you ask her, when they're out there, when somebody passes in the opposite direction, they say, hello, good morning, how are you? Sometimes a random high five. I try to be the mayor of every single trail to let people know that it's okay to be outside. They were really, I think, we've traveled to numerous countries now. So Tanya and I got my passport just 5 years ago, right before the pandemic. I say all the time, the world shut down, but our hopes and dreams did not. But the more I connect, the more conversations I have with people that don't sound like me, look like me, haven't had the experiences that I have, they've had their own. All they really want to do is have a good life. They want to raise their kids. They want to feel like they've had a purpose. And they want to know they're loved and they want to love. That's all they want. The news, the media, politics, they try to get us all to fight. Screw that. Let's make our world better. Create that ripple effect today with a high five, a handshake, and a conversation, a purposeful conversation. So what's the lesson I really want to share? Life sometimes is going to be sideways and knock you down. The question is, do you stop there or do you get up, brush yourself off, decide if that's a win or a lesson? What story can you share? What conversation will you have with yourself and the next person you see? In Rucktober, which starts October 1st, globally, it's going to be about our interconnected conversations on a ruck, wearing that backpack, whether it's Corpus Christi, Texas, whether it's San Antonio, Texas, Seguin, Texas, New Braunfels, Texas, Shelby, Nebraska, Oklahoma City, Oklahoma, Mexico City, South Carolina, just to name a few places off the top of my head that I remember that it's going to occur. We're going to do it together, apart. The crack we're going to have inside the Trailblazer tribe will be priceless. And it's what's going to motivate us each and every day to get up, get out, and get moving. So the lesson is every day is an opportunity to learn. Wins, lessons, and crack. Conversation. I want to leave you today with a challenge. Here's your Coach Dane challenge today. Before I do that, if anything you heard, comment, like, share this with a friend who just needs a little light in their life to realize that the world has been a dark place forever. What we have to do is shine our light to blaze a trail, to be the trailblazers and blaze that trail that's never been there before and invite others to join us so we can age with awesomeness, be fit to explore. It's by taking action, even on days you don't, in mindset, movement, meals, and your personal mission. So here's your challenge. Where in your life do you need more weatherproofing to overcome the hardship, the rain, the weather, the snow, the wind? So drop it in the chat today. What's one thing that you can do today to prove that you're weatherproof, that you'll show up no matter whether it's dark, whether it's a full moon or no moon at all, whether it's windy or whatever it is that you need to say, I am amazing. I have the strength and power to overcome. Look, if you want a community that pushes you through the storm, I truly encourage you also to just drop Rucktober in the comments. Look, join us. What's the best that can happen when you say yes to yourself? When you learn that winning 4 days out of 7 is a victory? When you set a goal, whether it's Lisa 100 plus miles, or you're a brand newbie like Jill, who's had ankle fusion and she's going to do 30 miles this month. That's huge. Or Tanya, who what she said when we were hiking in Dingle, she's like, you realize I've only been walking for about 90 days. Because she literally just started to walk right when we began this phase of 75 days done right. You're going to hear more about that in the next coming weeks because our next phase of 75 days done right starts just before Halloween. All right, Jill, drink some water. Lisa, drink some water. Take a selfie. Drop that high five. Go be amazing. And remember that you have the power, you have the ability, and you have the strength to make the world a happier, healthier, more prosperous place. Until next time, go be amazing.